Welcome back to CrossFit Kitchen. My name is Brandon, aka the host with the most.
And I am Eddie, aka Lalo. For today's episode, we're going to be making a pasta with some steak and mushrooms along with...
We're going to be doing some THC infused wine. Yes, you heard it. We're going to be using red wine, 19 Crimes, Pinot Noir. We're going to show you how to infuse that ourselves. But before we get started in this episode, I do want to apologize to all the viewers out there. We didn't film last week. We did have a coronavirus scare. Thankfully, tested negative. We just happened to catch something going around. So we're going to take a shot to that. We're going to take a shot to get this episode started. To being Rona-free.
Rona-free, son.
Let's get this on the roll.
Alright guys, for today's ingredients, we're gonna use some rotini. You guys can use any type of pasta. I wanted to use penne, but that's what they had at the store for now. A little bit of heavy cream. Tomato sauce is gonna be optional. We'll see how it tastes with the oil. Some minced garlic, some thyme, some Parmesan cheese, some steak, mushrooms, and of course our infused olive oil. Alright guys, so we're gonna boil up our pasta, right? Whatever noodles you guys are using. I put some hot water in here. You guys want to start out with hot water, not cold water. Obviously, you know, you guys will take longer with the cold water. So we're gonna do, for this one, we're gonna do about a box and a half, which is like pretty much a pound and a half of noodles. This will be enough for should be enough even up to like 8 to 10 people, to be honest. So we're gonna give it maybe about 15 minutes tops, and we'll come back once the noodles are soft.
All right guys, so I'm gonna show you how to make some THC red wine. I mean, you can use white wine as well, it's your preference. But for today, we're gonna be using 19 Crimes Pinot Noir. This was actually filmed prior to the day of due to the process that it takes. It's a 24-hour to 48-hour process, depending on how potent you want it. The steps I'm about to show you don't do exactly what I did because I put way too much weed into this one. I don't have a scale, so I was like, oh, that looks like an 1/8. You'll see coming up soon on how potent this is gonna be. Enjoy. Okay, so now that you saw the process, there's one thing I do want to add. Every 5 to 6 hours, just give it a shake. You don't want it really sitting in one spot because that's going to actually ruin the flavor. So you do want to stir it every 6 hours. Grab a funnel unless you're good with pouring. I'm not. I'm absolutely terrible. So those who see this, I do apologize. Like I said, I'm terrible at pouring stuff in. So here we go. And of course, I mess a little bit, a lot. Yeah, that's about right. Because like I said, horrible at pouring. All right. We got our Keef bag in there. Just gonna really press all that THC. Now, I do want to talk about some notes on this. It does smell very potent. You smell the wine, and you can smell the weed. I don't have a glass because I forgot to bring one when we're filming. Salute. Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. It's sweet. You can definitely taste the keef. It does have little undertones, but the weed actually really complements it. 10 out of 10, I approve. I'll let you know how I feel by the end of this episode.
All right, guys, so in the meantime, while we have our noodles going, boiling, getting soft, we're gonna cook off our mushrooms. We're just gonna add a little bit of oil in here because if you guys haven't heard before, Brandon does not have a scale, so he eyeballs it, and he has a pretty big eye.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
When he balls it.
All just everywhere.
Just balling it all around. Just trying to overdose people with THC, which is not a bad thing. I would like to die like that. We're gonna pour a little bit more oil.
Disclaimer, you can't die from overdosing on THC.
Exactly what he said. You can try, but you're just gonna get high. All right, so we have that going. Let's get to our steak. We'll start prepping it. And by prepping it, we're just gonna cut it into small pieces. We're not gonna do a marinade for this because we don't want it to go against the flavors of the pasta, of the sauce from it. We're just gonna cut it, make small pieces. We're gonna season it with salt, pepper, a little bit of thyme. You know, whatever seasonings you guys have at home. I like to add garlic on my stuff. A little bit of like onion powder. Whatever seasonings you guys have. Pretty much just cut it into small pieces so it can be easier for us to cook. It's a little tender, which is what I like. I like my meat juicy. All right, let's saute. We have our mushrooms going. We'll take a look at our noodles. And we'll take one of the noodles out just to show you guys that it's still hard. If you guys see that white on your noodles, obviously still means that it still needs time. You kind of want to see that whiteness around the edges all over your noodle. We'll get about maybe 10 more minutes for the noodles. We'll leave the mushrooms sizzling a bit. Starting to pick up that strong THC smell, which goes pretty good with the mushrooms, to be honest. Smells pretty earthy. All right, guys, so we added a little bit of thyme on it. We're gonna add some pepper to both sides, obviously. Some salt. I don't like this little salt grinder right here.
ASMR.
It's pretty cool. All right, we got that side seasoned. No worries if some of your seasoning falls off because you're still pretty much marinated in your cutting board. Don't be afraid to salt it up. Obviously, you don't want to add too much salt. Small pepper. All right, we got that right there. Welcome back to the mushrooms. Our mushrooms are still going. I would say maybe like about 2-3 more minutes. They're starting to sweat. I like that. You guys starting to see those bubbles. Those are THC bubbles. I like it. We'll give a quick stir to our noodles. That way it won't get stuck. You guys can go ahead and add some oil in your water. What that does, it keeps the noodles from getting stuck to each other or to the bottom of the pot. All right, cool. All right, guys, so we got our noodles already pretty much done. When you guys see them fluff up a bit, and you see they're pretty flexible, bendable, whatever you want to say. We'll take them off. Put that to the side real quick. We don't want it to be burning off. And make sure you guys have something to hold this because you guys don't want to burn sensitive little hands at home. Alright, we got our noodles. All that water drained out. What I'm gonna do, I'm putting them back now that the water's all strained out. And we're gonna get back to cooking our steak. We'll make our sauce and we'll pretty much have it ready to go. We'll use a little bit of the oil so we can get some sizzle for the steak. We're gonna crank this one up a bit. So it's been hot already. It's been sitting down on the hot side for a while. All right, we're gonna lay down our steak. Remember that oil that we're using to cook, it's infused as fuck. So don't be scared to add some more seasoning to it. Because even if it falls off the meat, it's all gonna be on that oil. And then that oil is gonna be pretty juicy for you guys to even kind of bake your steak, you know? I would prefer to use butter. But unfortunately, because we were ill last week, we didn't get a chance to make some. Got a little more black pepper on. Like I said, don't be scared of the seasoning. Because even if you were to add, you know, more salt than normal on your steak, it will even out with the sauce and your mushrooms. All right, so we got our steak going right. You pretty much want what I want is for my steak to have those brown spots all over it. Obviously, it's not prepared. And then for, you know, when I'm making steak or pasta, I like to cook it kind of like out of a medium well. Because if it's at a medium, then you're just gonna have a bloody sauce. There's nothing wrong with that, but I really don't want blood on my pasta. All right. We got a steak going. You guys starting to smell that thyme at home. Smelling pretty good. And this was just some brisket that I found at the shop. I mean, at the shop, at the city. At the shop. Like, hey, we guys actually at the shop. All right, cool. We got a steak. Starting to get that color, that nice color. Not bad. Now, if it takes too long for you guys to cook it, you know, from this side to this side, we can easily just flip it, you know, sear from all sides all around. You guys will notice that your steak will shrink a bit, but that's fine. In the meantime, we have our steak going. We're gonna get a burner going for a pot with, we can start making the sauce. We're going to use this one for our sauce while our steak is going. Now for this, I'm going to add some oil right away. Because I want to pretty much warm up the oil. And yes, I am using a good amount of oil. But you guys can see why. What I'm going to do, I'm going to warm up the oil with because I'm going to throw some thyme in it. Now, if I was to wait for my pot or my saute to get hot and I throw the oil right away, and then I throw my thyme, it's gonna burn off the thyme. As it is, you guys see it's pretty much a dry herb. You guys can get fresh thyme. Even with fresh thyme, if you get, like I said, if you guys were to add it right away when your saute is hot as hell, you guys are gonna burn it all off. All right, so we got that. If you need to every now and then, you know, dip your finger. It's not hot yet. This sauce may come out a little bit darker than what sauces you guys make at home, but that's because of our infused THC. Starting to get smoky in here. Not bad. Nothing wrong with some smoke. Now we're gonna flip our steaks here to the side because it's cooked from top to bottom. Now we're gonna cook the sides. That way it can even it out and bring a mid well to the middle. All right, so we have our oil, right? Could I follow that red one here? Perfect. All right, so just make sure, like I said before, if you guys are about to start working on a project or something, make sure you guys have all your ingredients right next to you. That way you guys won't be, you know, flipping back and forth like I am doing right now. And you guys seen that tomato sauce, tomato paste earlier. That is going to be optional. We may add that depending if the oil goes against the flavors of you know, cheese and milk and all that stuff that we're using. If it overpowers the dish, then I'm gonna use some of that tomato sauce just to even it out, and you know, we won't taste so much of the THC, but we will still get high because of the THC. All right, so we got our steaks going. We're gonna turn this down to low. We got our oil. I'm gonna assume it's already hot, and now I'm bringing it up to high. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna throw some thyme in it. I'm gonna throw a little bit of, that's not garlic. Throw a little bit of garlic. Yes, we are high and we are faded at the same time. Okay, cool. We got that. Let me get my whisk real quick. Now make sure you guys have a whisk with y'all, because you guys are gonna have to be whisking all this stuff with the sauce. You guys see that? All right, so that's when we're gonna bring it down to low. We're gonna add a little bit of infused red wine on it. Careful with it, guys. Now, for those of you at home that have a fire stove, you guys will see fire come up from your saute. Obviously, from right here, we have a light stove. Nothing wrong with it. All right, so we got that color, right? You guys see that color starting to get a little bit red, or garlic starting to get a little bit red. Okay, no worries. Now that's when I'm gonna throw my heavy cream on. You guys starting to see that that oil is pretty dark, pretty strong. Nothing wrong with it. We got our steaks in the meantime. Okay, seems like our steak is pretty much cool. I mean, not cool, ready to go. We're gonna turn it off and leave it sizzling in the meantime. And then for this, now that the oil has some milk in it, I'm gonna turn on my flame a little bit higher, because after that we're gonna throw in our cheese, and we're pretty much gonna thicken out the sauce with the cheese. And once again, we'll add some more pepper to the sauce. I'm not gonna add thyme because we already have enough thyme on it. Some salt. If you guys are at home, you guys can use a little bit of lime juice. If you guys have lime, you know, squeeze out a little lime juice, lime zest, whatever you guys want to use. All right, so we got that. You guys starting to see, starting to boil. Okay, now that it's starting to boil, we're gonna I'm adding Parmesan. Normally I like to add Reggiano to my sauces, just because I feel like it's a little bit more fancy. And it's pretty much the same as the Parmesan, but more pricey. You guys starting to see how the sauce starting to kind of like thicken up? Cool. So make sure you guys keep that whisk close to you at all times. Now we're gonna turn our flame down. We don't want to get popped by one of these. Okay, now you know what? We're gonna throw in all that Parmesan in. You guys starting to see how thick this sauce is getting? We're gonna give it a quick taste. Ooh. Okay. Tastes pretty good. We're just gonna need a little more salt on it.
How good would you say it tastes?
On a scale from 1 to 10, I am gonna say, for something just made at home on the fly, this is a good 8, with 10 being the highest. All right, guys. So now you guys can easily just start plating. We'll have a plate, right? We'll have our noodles. We're throwing our mushrooms. We're gonna slice our steak. Or, if you guys want to, remember we have our pot. I'm just gonna shower all the noodles in here. Save some of the sauce. Okay, we got that. And we're gonna give it just a stir to the pot. That way we can get some sauce all around the noodles. You guys don't want to throw in all the sauce in it because, you know, just in case, you know, 10 minutes later your sauce will get a little bit dry. No worries, we have a little bit more sauce outside that we can throw and pour on top. All right, so let's get to slicing this steaks. For this, we're just gonna make small slices. Normally, yes, leave your steak for rest for like a good 3 minutes, 4 minutes, right? If you're in the kitchen, the chef will tell you, hey, leave your steak resting. So that way, if you leave it resting, the blood will just stay inside and stay juicy. You guys see how I'm cutting it? All that juice is coming out. By letting it rest, it's pretty much just kind of like staying as a solid within the meat. And there goes Brandon.
Looks good. And tastes pretty fucking bomb too.
All right, cool. So now we have some steak on, right? Let's get to plating. All right, guys, so we're gonna plate up our pasta. Like I said, it can either give you 8 to 10 servings, or it can give you 5 servings plus refills for each person that you have with. All right, so we have our pasta, right? We're gonna throw in some of our mushrooms. You guys don't have to throw mushrooms in it, you know. Believe it or not, I'm not even a fan of mushrooms, but I eat them every now and then, you know, when they're around. We're gonna throw some more sauce on top. We're gonna add our steak. And then we're just gonna top it out with some Parmesan on top. You guys can go ahead, you know, put whatever you guys want on it, and that's gonna be your steak pasta. Pretty easy, simple. Nothing out of the world. All right, guys, thanks for sticking with us today for another episode and making some pasta with us along with some infused wine.
Oh yeah, and this thing, let me tell you, the first sip that had me, the more I drank it, yeah, I put a lot into it. I realized I put too much into it. But the effect is great and it tastes great. The aroma's great. But I do want to bring something up, folks. After our scare with COVID, please treat it serious. We treated it serious before, but once we both thought we actually caught it, it was a ball changer, a game changer, I guess is the best way of saying it. Be safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, don't touch your dick and touch doors, wash your hands. Once again, wash your fucking hands. But, further ado, let's dig in.
Yeah, let's dig in, dude. Smells pretty good.
The steak was already good after I stole that piece. One more sip of mouthful of meat.
Oh yeah. I don't drink wine, but thanks to Brandon, I will.
Well, I do.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. What else would you guys like for us to make in our crossfaded kitchen? What kind of drinks you guys would like to see? Please challenge us. I know for now we're just making easy, make at home plates, but that's our goal. Please subscribe, blaze that notification.
No. Tell me what you want to do. Tell me what you want to see. Challenge me. Give me a challenge. Just no Everclear, for the love of God, please. But that said, blaze the notification bell. Hope you had a great time. We're gonna finish this. See you next week.
Ta-ta.